Hi guys. When I was at Google, I conducted a lot of video interviews for potential recruiters, and let's talk about what I saw and what I learned by going through this process. If you like my content, please like. If you have any comments, please comment below. And if you like my overall content, please subscribe. At the end, I'll attach the phone interview video that I did last week. I think there's some other helpful tips in there, but let's go through the real basics for the video interview. One, and if you've watched any of my content before, you know it's to prepare. Just make sure you're prepared. And so the number one way with the video interview to prepare is to do a mock interview with a family member, friend, current colleague, past colleague. It can be somebody who you're even living with and they just go into another room and do it. This is so critical because they're going to give you feedback that's invaluable. You have this weird body language, or you're not making eye contact with the camera, or anything. They're going to give you great insight. Maybe your voice isn't loud enough. Maybe you're not projecting. Maybe you're slouching. All these items, people that you know are going to give you this awesome feedback. So make sure that you go through that process. One of the big second items is the technical piece. This will allow you to make sure, hey, my camera's working, and then that you're actually comfortable using the platform, whether that's Google Hangouts or Skype or Zoom. You'll really get a feel for the platform and how you can kind of move the video around and all those sorts of items that are just going to have you ready and prepared. And so it's really critical. I interject a lot of my personal story in here, but I feel like these stories are something that people attach to. And so when I was conducting these video interviews at Google, maybe 20% of the time, I would hop on the video, I'd wait 5 minutes, and then I'd have a backup phone number and I'd call the candidate and they'd say, hey, Jeff, sorry, I wasn't able to get it to work, or yeah, I'm not going to do the video today. And that showed a genuine lack of preparation. If they weren't ready to be on the video, or if they were choosing to not want to be on the video, I can tell you 100% of the time I never hired that candidate. And it wasn't a coincidence that they were some of the weaker candidates. They showed that lack of preparation. And again, they maybe just chose to be on the phone. But that's a theme if we didn't hire any of those people. So just keep that in mind. Real legitimate technical issues will come up. Really check that video stream an hour, 2 hours as soon as you can before it happens to make sure that it's not happening. And if it is, go ahead and contact the person and ask if you can reschedule, or ask if they're seeing technical issues on their end. Okay, let's go to the second one, video environment. And the big one that a lot of people make the mistake with is they make the mistake of having a busy background. So when I do these videos, I intentionally put the tree behind me because it's very peaceful. It will wave a little bit, right? It's melancholy and it's not distracting. There's not a lot of things going on in the background. What I saw from a lot of video interviews was very junky backgrounds, not a lot of thought put into the background. You should streamline, chop it down to having almost nothing or maybe just a couple of items, because if I see a lot in the background, it's going to distract me and I'm not going to be listening to what you're saying visually. It is going to pull my eyes off of you and I won't be listening. That's bad. Secondly, it does show a lack of preparation because it shows that you haven't organized and taken the time to think about what's behind you. That goes into self-awareness as well. That goes into having perspective. These items are really important. And lastly, if it's very messy behind you, I'm going to translate that into your physical space is your mental space, and you're just unorganized in general. And all these items will be deterrents. So they're items to be thinking about. The other more basic ones are make sure you're in a quiet space, obviously. And then lastly, light. You want the light coming in and facing you. You don't want the light behind you, and natural sunlight is the best. That's the reason why I face this way, because the light comes into my face this way so you can see me when I'm doing these videos. Another missed item is camera angle. So make sure you get a couple books, you get a couple boxes of cereal, and you prop your camera up so that you're facing it straight on. I've seen a lot of videos where you're down lower or your head's up higher like this, and You really want to be eye level with your interviewer. It's another critical but very, very easy step. Grooming, treat it like it's a face-to-face interview, really kind of shower, get ready for it. Some of the tech companies like Google, they don't expect you to dress up, but just look presentable. I saw a little bit of this too in a lack of grooming when I did the interviews. And this last item, and it's very different from what I mentioned in the phone interview. And again, I'll tag this to the end of this video, but notes. Be extremely careful of having notes right behind the video because it will draw your eyes away. And occasionally you'll see me even sometimes reference my notes. But again, another example, I had this one candidate and they were amazing. And they did this amazing job. They answered all the questions, but I would ask the question here, and then their answers, they'd always be looking here while giving the whole answer. And I knew that they were looking at notes and they weren't treating it like a face-to-face interview. And that's really the way you should treat the video interview. So I collaborated with the hiring manager who also interviewed the candidate, and we both agreed, wow, this candidate was amazing, but they were not looking at us and they were clearly reading off notes. And ultimately, we didn't hire that person for that reason. So something to really think about. Lastly, I can tell everybody part of my personal story is I got the job at Google doing video interviews. I was hired as a contractor. I was living in San Diego. I did 4 video interviews and I had all these items and followed all these steps before I had that interview, and it helped me have success. So prepare, make sure you're organized, make sure the lighting's good, make sure the grooming's good, and that you're not reviewing notes and you're prepared like it's a face-to-face. Thanks so much. Again, if you like my content, please like. If you have any comments below, please comment. And if you like the overall content, please subscribe. Have a fantastic day. Thanks.